Alright, so in this video, I'm going to pretty much explain why Medicare for All single payer is the only option we have for a comprehensive Medicare system in America. The public option is a scam. I'm also going to bring to light two candidates who supposedly support Medicare for All, but they support a public option, which is horrible. But I digress. Let me start with Marianne Williamson. So I'm gonna start by saying I am a huge Marianne Williamson fan. She is the only candidate who went to the first debate and talked about reparations. Even though Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, both of them went on the Breakfast Club to talk about reparations and act like they're pro-black, Marianne Williamson was the only one to bring up reparations. And once she did bring up reparations during the debate, Kamala Harris pretty much bulldozed her argument and went straight to her experience as a black person. She did not even mention reparations after Marianne Williamson brought it up. So I just want to play a few videos about who Marianne Williamson is. So I'll play a few videos about who Marianne Williamson is and show why I like her so much. You'll see from the clips.
All of these issues are extremely important, but there are specifics, there are symptoms, and the underlying cause has to do with deep realms of racial injustice, both in our criminal justice system and in our economic system. And the Democratic Party should be on the side of reparations for slavery for this very reason. I do not believe that the average American is a racist, but the average American is woefully undereducated about the history of race in the United States.
That's perfect. And at this point, Kamala Harris brought up the busing issue and went on the whole tirade against Joe Biden, pretty much calling him a racist, which was, she pretty much weaponized her blackness and she didn't use her for good. That's pretty much what happened. So I give Marianne Williamson all the props. Like no other candidate came close to her wokeness at this point. Well, pro-blackness, I could say that. So the reason I'm bringing her up in this single payer public option video is because she went on Colbert. Yeah, I had the video. Yeah, she went on Colbert and told America, July 23rd, that was yesterday, that she was for the public option, even though she signed a pledge, the TYT pledge, that specifically says, I pledge to fight for a single-payer Medicare for all healthcare system that transforms healthcare in the country into a right, not a privilege. So this is a huge contradiction, and this is very important to a voter like me who is I am a staunch supporter of consistency, and there's only one candidate who has been consistent his entire career, and that's Bernie Sanders. But I digress, it's not a Bernie Sanders video. But yeah, she signed a pledge even though she's for the public option. I'll explain why the public option is so bad, but I want to get to Marianne Williamson video. So I'll just show the video on her on Colbert to show you exactly what she said.
In some of the policy positions, I think I'm very similar. I'm a progressive, left-wing Democrat. But
Medicare for all?
Medicare, I want a public option. I think a public option in addition to the Obamacare exchange, because I want to be an agent of change. I don't want to be an agent of chaos. And I believe that's the best way to do it. I think that there will be a transition to the Medicare for all flat, and I think that the government can give subsidies to anybody who might be lost in the meantime.
Alright, so I don't understand where this chaos would be if we switch to a Medicare for all system. No idea how it would be chaos. And yes, there will be a transition period from our current healthcare system to Medicare for all. What Bernie said, he said he's going to decrease Medicare for all by 10 years so within 4 years, everyone will have Medicare for all. But it will start with seniors, and it will start with like people at 65 and 55 next year 35, next year everyone will have Medicare for all. 4-year transition period, perfect. Everyone will be covered in 4 years. That's what it should be, not a public option. Now, I hope she is referring to this transition period the same as what Bernie's talking about, because that's sort of a public option, but essentially a single payer. I hope that's what she's talking about. I hope she can clarify what she meant by this public option nonsense. But on the TYC pledge, I pledge to fight for a single payer Medicare for all healthcare system. It's right there. She was the first candidate to sign it too. And I'm not taking nothing away from Marianne Williamson. I love her to death. I mean, she agrees with higher wages. She agrees with Green New Deal, college for all, and she agrees with ending corruption, taking money out of politics. She agrees with all of that. Love her, but this is one thing where I'm kind of iffy about, and I'll go into depth why I hate the public option after I talk about the next candidate who has flip-flopped the same as Marianne, but kind of worse because this is her second time flip-flopping. So during the debate, during the first debate, Democratic debate, the candidates were asked who was for a Medicare for all system, and Kamala Harris, Medicare for all system, single payer system, who's for a single payer system. And Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders were the only two people who raised their hand. I'll show you here as proof.
We're going to do it again now. Many people watching at home have health insurance of their employer. Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan? All right.
Look at that. Look at that. Marianne didn't raise her hand. She didn't raise her hand. So I guess she knew she was for a public option from the start. So there might have been some kind of, when she signed the pledge, she might have not understood. She might have thought Medicare for all public option was a part of that pledge. So we gotta get some clarification on that. But no one else raised their hand but Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris for single payer. So only these two candidates right now in this debate are for single payer. That's what the debate told me. That watching this is what it told you. Now this doesn't include Booker and Warren. I forgot how they answered, but I believe Senator Warren did sign a pledge, so I believe she is for single payer, but I'm not entirely sure. But just from watching this, Bernie and Kamala Harris are for a single payer. She raised her hand.
Christian,
okay. All right. Let's go to see where she flip-flops.
The defining moment in the debate was when every candidate was asked to raise their hand if they would abolish private insurance. In that moment, you raised your hand. But afterwards, your campaign says, actually, that's not your position. So what is your position on private insurance?
So the question was, would you be willing to give up your private insurance?
That's not how it was asked.
For such a plan. And
that's what you heard, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's certainly what I heard. And in terms of, I am supportive of Medicare for all, and under a Medicare for all policy, private insurance would certainly exist and for supplemental coverage. But under Medicare for all, and my vision of it, we would actually extend benefits. So, for example, vision care, dental care, hearing aids, which currently are not covered.
It's the rest of it BS. It's public option. She's for public option. She's not for a single payer. So she flip-flops yet again. And that is a huge no-no in my book. I cannot stand flip-floppers. I hate it. Hate it. Kamala Harris she's been off my list of potential candidates, but does not help her run. Alright, so I'll get into the reason why, in my opinion, single payer is the only way to go and public option is a scam. So I'll use the education system in America as the catalyst here. So in America, we have public school and private school. Private schools are incomparably better than public schools as a whole. Why? They get more funding. Rich people go to private schools. All right. And then not only that, when a Republican leader is in office and they promote some person like Betsy DeVos to that cabinet position over the education, she transfers funds that's supposed to go towards public schools because it's a government-run operation, and it gives subsidies to private schools. So they're taking money from public schools who need those funds to operate, and they put them towards private schools who are privately funded already, which makes the public schools even worse. So when you have a two-party system, one is going to be better than the other one. Which one do you think is going to be better? The one with the poor people or the rich people? So the poor people's system, someone has to pay that bill. So that means the taxes are going to be exponentially higher than it would if you had a single payer system where all the rich people and all the poor people were in the same boat. So it wouldn't be any kind of, oh, I want to take money out of here and put it here. No, everyone will be in the same boat. So if you don't want to fuck up our healthcare system, you won't mess up you won't take money out of the single payer system. So if it's one system, then you are incentivized to help that system. You won't hire another. There won't be lobbyists taking money out of the free side of healthcare. And then not only will the taxes be cheaper, the only person it will be higher for is rich people, like probably Bezos, because he didn't pay any tax this year. Well, Amazon didn't pay any taxes this year. So a lot of people like to spin it like, oh, Medicare, oh, we can't afford Medicare for all. Bernie's going to raise taxes. Well, you're paying for more with co-payments than you will in a raise in taxes. You're paying more now than you would if we had Medicare for all, because there will be no co-payments. If your kids get sick and you have to pay like a $6,000 fee for one appointment, and you go into debt, that won't happen. Because there will be no copay. There will be no payments until tax day. And your taxes won't increase that much to where you will go in debt. Taxes is based on how much you make, so it's almost impossible to go in debt if you're paying your taxes. So Medicare for all single payer is that safety net that you have, that the consumer has, like the average person has. They can go to the doctor if they're hurt. They don't have to just G it out. They don't, you know what I mean? But yeah, so if you have a two-party system, one of the parties will be worse than the other. So it pretty much incentivizes rich people to be healthy and poor people to be just fucked. That's why you need to have a single payer system. Everyone pays their way. Everyone pays their way. I guarantee people won't mind paying higher taxes if it means they have access to healthcare. I guarantee it. All the public option will do is anger those who believe in Medicare. Because then the right will say, see what I told you? The taxes are way too high. Well, yeah, it'll be high if you have a public option. It will be high because poor people have to pay for their own. Poor people have to pay for other poor people's Medicare, medicine and operations. But if you have a single payer system, the rich pay for it and the poor help pay for it. That's how it should be. I hope you understand that. If you don't, put a comment down there. If I got something wrong, put a comment down there. I'll respond to every comment. Follow me on Twitter. I'll respond to tweets. I'll follow you back. I'll engage in the conversation. I like the conversation. So, subscribe if you like videos. If you want more, hit me up on @Imperfect Newz. That's with a Z. And YouTube, the same thing. Imperfect Newz. Alright, I'll see you next video.